From this video we will know what's new in the new version of Tesla SCADA 2 version 47. The main feature we added in the new version is possibility to work with database by using script and using result sets or data sets. Also we add possibility to use Postgres and MS SQL in our projects. For this you have to watch how to do this. You can watch in our other videos. We will make it later. Now let's speak about result sets, scripts, functions. We created some scripts to demonstrate them. In first script we create query for creation table in our project. You can watch the default DB name is DB project. It's for SQLite project, and also it's created databases for MSQL, Postgres, and MySQL servers. And we use query for creation table. Create table if not exists parameter for SQLite, and this query it depends on the database you use. For example, for MSQL it looks like this, and for PostgreSQL it looks like this, and for MySQL it looks like this query. We put these values into the global arguments to use in other scripts, and we use run SQL to run this query. Before we create the back connections by using previous functions, and use run SQL to create table with the script in these queries. In our case, it's create table with temperature, humidity, pressure. Also for common database table, we use new property column width array to create width of the columns for this database table. It looks like array of values. It's column width for the first column, it's width for the second, for third, and for fourth column. In the next script, we insert value by using query. We get DB name, result set name from the arguments, username and password for the databases that use username and password. And we create query by using insert into parameter and values that get in from the text. This query is similar for all databases. So then we create connections if it's not connected, if it doesn't exist, and run SQL for the database name and this query. And next script is for reading these parameters. It looks like in the previous. For reading from the global arguments our parameters DB name, rs name, and username, and this query select from our table. Then create the DB connection, and here we use run SQL query. It needs database name and query we use. Also it needs rs name. It means result set where we put all our parameters that we get from executing this run SQL query function. And then we move rs in this result set to the text position that we define in the tag pos, and to read strings from the result set rs read string, pressure, temperature, and humidity columns. The same thing we use for update by using query update parameter and moving to the position in text position, and then we update parameter by using this query we created in this script, and use run SQL to execute this query. Also, we can read only column. For example, we select from the parameters all used query, select all values from parameter, and run SQL query and put this result set in the result set with name rs name. And then we using cycle while we read doubles with name of the column temperature from this result set with result set name rs name, and put this value into the array text temperature array here, and then we demonstrate this in text temp array. The same way we use read humidity array and read pressure. And the last script we use to calculate minimum, maximum, and average values of every column. We use this query for this and run SQL query this and read all values by using value from the result set and using number of parameter of the value we read. For example, for the minimum pressure we read first parameter, for maximum pressure we use second parameter from the result set, and for average pressure we read third parameter. Let's see how it works in demonstration. Let's start. First we have to connect to SQLite, and we read SQLite values. Let's create other value. For example, we add these values and insert. We here get this value, and now reads array, temperature array. We got all values from the temperature column, read humidity array and read pressure array. Now we want to read parameter in the first position of result set, and we got first position parameters. If you want to update, for example, we want to change value here and update, and we update the first parameter of the database, and we want to calculate all values. Maximum for temperature 45 and minimum 1, and average value for this column. The same things you can do for MSQL database. It takes some time to connect, and you can see all values from SQL we preliminarily added. For Postgres and for MySQL. Of course, you should add IP addresses of your servers. In this case, we create the MSQL server and Postgres server on one PC and MySQL server in other PC. Of course, you can find the demonstration project below. Also, in the new version, we add possibility to create template name for the group object. For example, for this group, we create template group. And for the same template group, you can apply changes for template. Choose use tag or no, in our case no, and you can see all changes I applied for template group independently of the name of the object. That's all. If you have any questions, do not hesitate to ask by email or our forum. I remind you that videos about Postgres and MySQL servers we create in the other videos.